Moving into 2024 in the Phoenix metro area, there are definitely going to be some cities that are going to stand out compared to the rest. And in today's video, I'm going over my top 4 picks for people moving into the Phoenix metro area and what cities they should definitely be considering. I'm going to go over some pros and cons of those cities. So let's get started. All right, guys, getting right into it. Number 1 place, and these are not in any specific order. They're all gonna be super popular based off of different things. So we'll talk about the first place right now. Buckeye, Arizona, super, super popular. And it is one of your guys' favorite places actually. So that's why I know it's gonna be popular, because you guys always watch those videos the most. So the thing about Buckeye and why I think it's gonna be, you know, exploding like it has been for the last like 3 to 5 years, honestly, is going to be affordability. Affordability is such a huge factor, and going into 2024, it's no different. Obviously, you guys know how expensive life is right now in general, so people are definitely looking for affordable housing options when they're really hard to find nowadays. So even in Arizona, where average price point is going to be, at least in the West Valley, maybe closer to that 400, 450 mark, but there's still homes under 400 in Buckeye. Is it going to be the perfect option for everybody? Absolutely not. It is one of the furthest locations you can go to the West. So if you think about affordability, in most cases, I wouldn't say in all cases, you kind of have the idea of like Phoenix being in the middle, and then as you move away from the Phoenix metro area, things get more and more affordable, just because you're not gonna have the same access that you would if you're super close to the city or super close to like some of those major suburbs like Goodyear, Avondale, what are some of the other places, Glendale, things like that, right? And I'm not saying there's not affordable options in those cities, but they're typically a little bit more expensive. Buckeye still has homes. I mean, you could buy a brand new home for $350. Is it gonna be super big and luxurious and all of the things that maybe you would want? Probably not, but you can get a good starter home at $350. And a lot of my clients who are moving specifically from like California or these super unaffordable places where this is gonna be their first home that they're ever purchasing, they're in shock that they can probably even buy a house for $350. It's insane. I know that I would be in shock too, coming from a place where average price point is closer to like, I don't know, like $1 million in certain counties. It's insane. So when you think that you can never buy a house and then you move, you're potentially gonna move to a place where you can buy a house for $350, that's pretty crazy. The other thing I like about Buckeye and why I think it's gonna be more popular than some of the other places is just how much growth it's had in the last, like I said, 3 to 5 years. It has seriously exploded, and there's so much like construction over there. There's so many restaurants over there. And of course, it's not gonna be the same as Goodyear, because obviously Goodyear has been around for a lot longer and is way more developed than Buckeye, but I think people see the opportunity that Buckeye has, not only with lower pricing for home options, but also just like I said, the growth that it's having and the job opportunities and the equity options, right? So like whenever you are buying in an area that isn't fully developed, there's more room for a potential in equity, which I think is really cool, especially for a lot of you guys who are buying your home for the first time. Equity, I mean, equity is super important to anyone, doesn't matter, especially when you're buying in like a huge investment like a home, but you have to consider like if this is your first home, the money that you make from that house is going to pay for all, potentially, hopefully, all the houses moving forward, at least a large down payment for you guys. So equity is super, super important. And even if you have to sacrifice for what's available in that area at that time, I think it's a really, really good sacrifice to make. And I would definitely do it if that was the only option that I would have. The cons of that is just being a little bit further out. For me, I want to be a little bit more centralized. Like, I'm not a city girl at all, so I want to be closer to the suburbs, but not super far west like Buckeye. So it just depends. Whenever you guys do hop on calls with me, I go way into detail on like whether or not Buckeye's gonna even be an option for you in regards to like if you have to drive an hour to work. Some of you guys are already doing that, so maybe it's not a big deal, but for me, that would just be not ideal. So you guys will have to let me know down in the comments below if it would be worth you driving 45 minutes to an hour to get to work to downtown Phoenix if it meant you got to buy a brand new home for $350,000. The next place that I'm thinking is going to be super popular in 2024 is Surprise, Arizona. And similar to Buckeye, it is one of the more affordable options in the Phoenix metro area while still having beautiful luxury homes, a mixture of luxury, a mixture of more affordable, and just absolute growth in the last few years. It's insane. They're building so many new homes, and not just are there new homes in this area, there's also older homes, and it's very well developed for still. It's crazy that they even have room to grow still at this point because it is super well developed. If it was me, I would 1000% move to Surprise. It's one of my more favorite options, and I think that it's your guys' favorite option too, because again, same thing as Buckeye, you guys are always watching my Surprise videos. Those are one of the most viewed videos. So I think that has a lot to do with my prediction as well, is just you guys absolutely love it, and I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know what it is, and I think that it has to do with the affordability factor. And also proximity to just like all the things that you need. Buckeye is still a little bit more underdeveloped than Surprise. And then also you're closer to like Peoria, you're closer to the I-17. For a lot of you guys, that's really important because you work in the North Phoenix area, or even some of you guys are working in Scottsdale but can't afford Scottsdale prices. Surprise, parts of Surprise and Peoria would be a really good option for you as well if you don't mind a little bit of a further drive. You guys will just have to let me know, like I said, in the comments below if that's a deal breaker for you. Some of you guys are already, like I said, driving an hour, some of you even more, just depending on traffic. So I think that for more affordable living, that's gonna be a really good option. Another thing about Surprise that everybody's loving is just all the new home construction. You guys love new homes. I love new homes. A lot of my clients love new homes. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Average price point around that area is probably like around the 400s, probably like maybe 420, I would say, is more on like the average end, but you can get some really beautiful homes under 400 still. They're a little bit smaller, but you know, a home's a home. And when you have all the access to the things that you would need, like home goods, they just built a new Costco over there. They're building new homes, like I said, but they're building, what else are they building? They built the Costco, they just built the Home Goods, Ulta, what's over there? Michael's, Ross, food options, like anything that you would possibly need. And it's already, again, super built out. So they don't even need anything. It's just somehow, some way they still have room. I don't know what it is, but they still have room. So anyways, Surprise is really cool. And I think it's a good area for people that need access to everything and don't want to wait like for all the things of Buckeye to be built up and whatnot. They want everything to be super well developed already, and Surprise definitely has that. If you guys have been watching my Surprise videos, let me know in the comments down below what about Surprise do you guys really love, because I honestly like Surprise, but I don't know what about it that I like necessarily. I like that it's really well developed, and I like that it's affordable, but you guys have to let me know down below. Quick reminder, guys, I am a licensed realtor here in this beautiful state. So if you've been thinking about relocating, I would love to help you out. My number and email are popping up. And if you're not quite ready to reach out yet, no problem. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I post videos every Monday at 5 p.m. all about the Phoenix metro area. I'm super excited for 2024 and to help as many of you guys as possible. If you aren't quite ready for all of that, I also have a relocation guide down below that you guys can check out and download. It has rental information. It has just my favorite cities. It has literally everything, just like even down to pet related heat tips. I tried to answer as many questions as I possibly could on that thing. So go ahead and download that. Next location is Laveen, Arizona. And I haven't talked much about Laveen on my channel, if at all, at this point. So I think this might be my first time making a video about Laveen. But the thing about Laveen that people love is, one, it's growing like crazy. It's already super well developed, similar to Surprise, but somehow, some way they are finding room to put homes in that area. So lots of new homes, lots of already well-developed homes. And then the other thing is, of course, it is a little more affordable than, say, the East Valley. But here's the biggest pros I see with Laveen. So I'm gonna pop up a map so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Laveen is all about location for some people. So what I mean by that is, one, it is one of the last cities, or I guess the first city in the West Valley that's closest to the East Valley without having to pay East Valley prices. So for example, if one of you guys, if you're in a family or whatever, your husband works in the West Valley, he works in Buckeye, and you are gonna work in Queen Creek, I don't know. Two opposite sides, right? One's in the East Valley and one's in the West Valley, completely polarizing. Laveen is right there smack dab in the middle where you don't have to pay East Valley prices, because if you haven't seen any of my videos before, East Valley is about $100,000 more expensive typically than, and not every place, I'll mention some of those in just a minute, but typically a little bit more expensive, a lot more expensive than it is in the West Valley. So you get those prices. You're centrally located. You're in one of the last suburbs before you kind of get into that Phoenix area, like very much city metro vibe. So you might not want to live in that, but you want to live close because you like going out to really cool mom and pop restaurants, or you like going out to downtown to go to the bars and the clubs or whatever your reasoning is, or you work downtown but you don't want to live in the city. Laveen is such a good spot for that, and like I said, they're just completely growing out there, which is great. Another thing about Laveen is you are super close to South Mountain, and South Mountain is absolutely stunning. It's a very beautiful mountain view. Another thing about it is you just got the 202 loop, so if you are headed out to the East Valley a lot, you don't have to deal with as much traffic, or if you're just trying to avoid the I-10 altogether, Laveen's really cool because you probably won't have to go onto the I-10 as much as maybe you would if you lived in Buckeye and you worked in downtown Phoenix. But like I said, I'll pop up that map so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to location. But I think that's the biggest factor when it comes to Laveen, and obviously just the new home options and still being somewhat affordable for a beautiful suburb located super close to downtown Phoenix. Okay, last but not least is Gilbert, Arizona. You guys, again, love Gilbert. It is one of the most popular places to move to in general and has been for many years. And so I am thinking that it's probably gonna be on the list for 2024 as well. And the main reasons is schooling, some of the schools. This goes for Chandler and Gilbert. I can't really talk too much about schools, but you guys can definitely check out the links down below. Niche.com is a super awesome resource for you guys if you're looking to learn more about neighborhoods, schools, all that stuff. But you could also just Google top schools in Phoenix and do your research from there. But it is known to be some of the top schools in Arizona, so that's really important to a lot of people. The other thing is just how, like, they say Gilbert is super family friendly, and I feel, depending on what your definition of family friendly is, of course, is, I would say I would agree. As I drive around, even just like on Halloween, I went over in that area and it's just like everyone's out. Everyone's out on, what is it called? The driveway of their house, and they have, you know, their TVs outside, they had the costumes on the table with all the candy, and they're, you know, have a couple of drinks with the parents, and the kids are playing around the front yard, whatever. Point is it looks like a lot of fun, and it gives very much family friendly energy out there. And then also they just have tons of family events. If you guys haven't seen my Gilbert video, I will put that at the end of this video so you guys can go ahead and watch that. It is definitely not for affordability. If you are looking for affordable options, West Valley is going to be your go-to place probably, and there's parts of East Valley. If you guys want me to do a video on like most affordable East Valley locations, I can definitely do that, and I should probably have already done that at this point because there are some good options. They're just a little bit further out. Another thing I love about Gilbert is just like the different types of homes over there. So there's a mixture of, you know, very much traditional, what's that style called? Just like, it feels like you're in a different world. I don't know what that is. I'll pop up what I'm trying to say. Oh, craftsman, that's what it is. Craftsman style homes out there. There's also like farmhouse, modern styles, lots of acreage properties over there. So it's a really good option for pretty much anyone, depending on what kind of home you're looking for. Of course, you just have to be able to fit within that budget. The average price point is definitely gonna be closer to $700, just depending on what zip code in Gilbert you're in, because Gilbert does have some of the most expensive zip codes in all of the Phoenix metro area, even surpassing portions of Paradise Valley and Scottsdale, which is insane. So Definitely not for the faint of heart. If you can afford that, that is a really, really great option. And so many people, especially relocation people, are flocking to Gilbert for all the things that I mentioned today. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, pretty please hit the thumbs up button. It really helps out my channel. Like I said, I'm going to point you to the Gilbert video next, and then also just a playlist of some of my other videos when it comes to cities. If you haven't decided a city, there are tons and tons of videos on this channel, and I'm really excited to help a lot of you guys out in 2024. So if you guys have questions, reach out. My number and email are popping up. I would love to assist you in any way I possibly can. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.